Flat Earth Debate live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. We are joined by Click OK, Jardo, Neil, One Deck, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
Let's get it on.
Hello. Hello. So we're going to get straight into a video today. So One Deck has supplied us with a video about surveying. And this particular video is being suggested to play out to the live audience on the basis that we've spent considerable amounts of time dealing with people who are engaging in doublespeak, lies and deception in the face of actual surveying measurements of a flat plane necessitated to survey Earth. So in that in mind, we're going to be listening to this particular video. As I say, it was supplied by One Deck, and it's Ahmed Sadoun. Have I said his name right? Hopefully so. But this is a video called
Nathan. Can I
go ahead?
Sorry, Nathan. I just didn't probably. But like I was trying to say in the pre-show, really the first minute would just do with this video, because he goes on and blabbers on about other stuff. But I'm sure we could just look at the first minute. It wouldn't take up the whole show, but we could spend 15 minutes on that 1 minute, probably looking at what's, the words he's using and the tools, and we could go around the table and explain what is happening. So I just wanted to say it's not the full video. It drags on a bit, but the first minute gets points across.
And get started. Here we are going to have lecture 1. In this lecture, we are going to have introduction to surveying. So what do we do in surveying? So in surveying, we are going to have measurement. We are going to measure the distances.
Yeah, so I was going to anyway. I was just posting the link, so I'll do a couple of things. First of all, there's a link going by to this video, so please subscribe to Ahmed Sadoun. There's a link going by in the live stream chat, and straight away we're into him describing what we're doing. Sorry, just for Dan's benefits, this is a surveyor, Dan. Did he say approximations? No, he didn't. He said measurements, because that's what he'll be doing. He's a surveyor. So surveying involves measuring, not approximating anything. Dan's an idiot. Just to be clear. Anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's important. That was what I was sort of focusing on. We're measuring. We're pointing that out because a lot of people in this arena jump to a calculation also after the measurement, which isn't what's being done at that time in reality. What's being done is a measurement, and in surveying, it's usually the surface of Earth. So, so this is what's happening in life, in engineering, in surveying, and it's not us making this up. This is a fact.
We do in surveying. So in surveying, we are going to have measurement.
I'll just say it again. Yeah, for Simon Dan's audience, your guru's a liar. It is that simple. So you can dilute the fact we measure Earth flat. He used a word that is inappropriate. Approximations. Lying scumbag. That's what Dan is. If you subscribe to Dan, you're a fool. And he's laughing at you. He knows he's rewording the facts in this matter from measurement to approximation, just to dilute the awful truth of flat Earth measurements in surveying. That's a liar. That's what Dan is, a liar.
We are going to measure the distances. We are going to measure the angles, and we are going to measure the positions.
So Dan's a liar. He didn't say approximations. He reiterated on 3 separate occasions that you're going to be measuring Earth, not approximating anything like Dan the liar has told his audience when diluting the flat Earth measurement facts detailed in this video. Just once more, Simon Dan is a disingenuous scumbag cult-following liar.
And that is going to be either on or near the surface of the Earth.
Wait a
you go.
second. Can you go back and replay that?
We are going to measure the angles, and we are going to measure the positions. And that is going to be either on or near the surface of the Earth.
We all clear? Earth's measured flat.
So
There's no exceptions to this. That's what he's detailing. He's detailing measurement. Is he detailing something that's approximating Earth's surface, or is he measuring Earth's surface? Yeah, he's measuring Earth's surface. That's what's happening. That's why it's called surveying. It's surveying Earth's surface. That's measurement. What did Dan call it again? Approximations, because he's a lying scumbag. And if you're following Dan and believing his lies, then you're a fool. There's no other words for it. Go ahead, Wandek.
Just saying, so if we just go by what it's saying, we're measuring distances. That's 2 points on the surface of Earth, which can be measured, probably with a linear measurement, like feet, inches, meters. And he's also saying that we'll be measuring angles. Now, I think everybody knows what an angle is. It's 2 straight lines. It's got nothing to do with, well, it's not a curved measurement. It's 2 straight line measurement. So, and he's specifying this is done on the surface of Earth. So you've got angles on the surface of Earth, and that's what the surveyors are doing.
Yeah, the AI overview summarises it quite nicely. Although, as we found out in the pre-show, after I've acquired an AI overview in this regard, the AI overview has now subsequently changed to incorporate how elevation angles are with respect to curved surfaces. That is to say that even AI lies proactively after it's utilised to demonstrate the truth of measurements. But the original AI overview was as follows. In geodetic surveying, elevation angles are primarily measured using a theodolite, which is an optical instrument with a telescope and rotating base to determine the vertical angle of a point relative to a horizontal plane. These measured vertical angles, along with known horizontal distances, are used in trigonometric levelling to calculate the elevation of a point. The theodolite measures precise horizontal and vertical angles, enabling the calculation of positions, distances, and elevations, and is essential for creating accurate maps and engineering plans.
So it's using elevation angles for mapping. That's to find your way around the surface of Earth. It will be elevation angle related.
Yes.
No mention of curvature. Curvature is not used. We're talking about horizontal, vertical angles in surveying and mapping. And the tool that's used is designed to do that. And that's what the professionals use.
Yeah. We measure Earth flat. And if your guru's telling you, no, we don't measure Earth flat, we just measure it flat locally for convenience, it's a flat approximation, then know that your guru's scum. That's scum man Dan the liar, who needs to deceive you about how Earth is actually measured. Now, while he's deceiving you, he's simultaneously conceding the facts. Yes! At very small scales, we use flat approximations. Why is it that Dan's got a different word to this surveyor? Or to the AI overview when it describes measurement? It's, as I said before, so he can dilute the flat Earth measuring facts of our reality for his audience who he's deceiving. That's Dan. Simon Dan, the one who's lying about them being approximations rather than measurements. but we do, without question, measure Earth flat. Now, you, the audience, have got a couple of choices here. You can come back at me and say, no, they don't. And like Fugly Dave, present a diagram that shows that an angle's actually formed diagrammatically with a curve. Therefore, Earth's curved, because the diagram of an angle has a curve in it, says a fugly troll called Dave. Alternatively, you can take the measurements of Earth in surveying and call them local approximations. Doesn't alter that they're flat measurements of Earth that will be used and are used when measuring Earth by everyone, always, without exception.
What we do is measuring.
What's that? What we do is measuring? So not approximating then, like liar man Dan said. So when Dan used the word approximating, this man's correcting Dan's lies. They're not approximations, Dan, you're a liar. They're measurements, as this man's made explicitly clear. Unlike you lying scumbag. What's that? I called Dave ugly? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Scrape your own eyes out kind of ugly. But they still measure Earth flat in surveying. Maybe tell me it's unfair to call an ugly man ugly. That's a much lower hanging fruit.
Distances, angles, and positions. Going to be either on or near the surface of the Earth. So what we do is measuring distances, angles, and positions. Okay? And in order to...
No, it's not okay. According to Dan, no. No, they're only doing that locally, and it's not measurements, it's approximations, according to a liar called Simon Dan. Massive audience, put in place to lie to the masses who come to this subject. And by masses, I mean the very small pond that we find ourselves segregated to by YouTube algorithms. Meanwhile, Dan and I are in the exact same pond with a limited audience. Dan gets the lion's share of that pond's audience, so he can lie to them about what this man's just corrected. And lie is what Dan will do incessantly.
To do that, we have many instruments or devices. We have the steel tape in order to measure the horizontal distances and the slopes. We have...
To measure the what distances, did he say?
I think he said horizontal distances, Nathan.
What do we do in surveying? So in surveying, we are going to have measurement. We are going to measure the distances. We are going to measure the angles, and we are going to measure the positions. And that is going to be either on or near the surface of the Earth.
This is a bit I'm interested in, his next statement.
So what we do is measuring distances, angles, and positions. Okay? And in order to do that, we have many instruments or devices. We have the steel tape in order to measure the horizontal distances and the...
It's over.
Measuring the horizontal distances. You know why all maps are flat? It's because Earth is flat. And you don't attain horizontal distances unless it's scaled and mapped and measured flat. And that is precisely what this survey has just detailed. All distance measurements in this regard, if they're going to be used for trigonometric functionality, must be measured flat. Horizontal distance measurements. What's that? Local approximations for convenience, says Dan. He's a scumbag. He's a liar. Why are you even subscribed to him? I'll tell you why you subscribe to him. Because you're as stupid as he is. Yeah? You're too dumb to realise that a very stupid man named Dan is deceiving you. You're more stupid than he is. That's why you've been taken in by the flat Earth local approximations that surveyors use. No, they're measuring horizontal distances. Dan's a liar. Dave's ugly and measured Earth flat in Antarctica for a limited period, not 24 hours, too incompetent to use an EQ mount. And Dan's a scumbag liar who says that the flat Earth measurements are just approximations locally for convenience. Liars. Earth's measured flat. Don't have to like it.
Not just them. There was people in chat yesterday claiming that it's not the ground that's being measured. So I'm glad this video We have a professional stating what's done and how it's done.
So on or near the surface of Earth is not the surface of Earth. No. It's not the surface of your idiotic, cult-like globe Earth. But we do measure horizontal distances. We do navigate with flat maps and flat scales. That's how Earth gets dealt with. It's just not your curved Earth, dumbos. It's not the flat approximations lied about by Simon Dan either. Yeah? It's actually the flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement made in a limited format by an incompetent man who's very fugly named Dave. When he laid out his surface level angle measurements to the sun for a limited period, not beyond the limitation of his actual ability when it comes to using a tripod, I might add. He wasn't dropped on his head. My assumption that his incompetence when it comes to an EQ mount was down to his careless mother. I've been corrected. I've been told, no, Dave wasn't dropped on his head. He's just really stupid and can't use an EQ mount. But what he did manage was a few flat Earth elevation angles to the sun with respect to the surface level. What's that? It's not a level surface. He didn't get any elevation angle approximations. Now, they're angle measurements off a surface level. And if it ain't level, it ain't an angle and you haven't got any measurements. I'll be using Fugly Dave's angle measurements off surface level. That's a flat Earth measurement to prove Earth is and will always be measured flat by everyone. As for Dan's pathetic attempt to make measurements into approximations on a local convenience scale, they just make him look like a disingenuous scumbag liar, don't they? Now again, if you, the audience, can't recognise this, that makes you more stupid than them. That's all it means. You're dumb.
The slopes. We have the theodolite, through which we are going to measure the vertical and the horizontal angles.
Can we stop there? Yeah,
They don't have those.
Yeah. So you've already gone over this, Nathan. These tools that the professionals are using are designed to measure angles and elevation angles, horizontally and vertically. No mention of curvature at all. Yeah, that's not being done. It doesn't even come into the job. Yeah, of what he's doing. He's telling you what he's doing, and he's telling you what tool he's using. And if you look at what the tool's designed for and its purpose, you'll find out.
It's measuring elevation angles off of a surface that the tool is levelled to, so that the angle to the horizon is flat and forms part of the angle. Now, as is detailed on screen, on or near the surface of Earth, because it's a surface of Earth measurement. Flat Earth surface level measurement. Who's that?
Let's just play that again, Nathan, about what the satellite's doing. What does he say again? Sorry.
Horizontal distances and the slopes. We have the theodolite, through which we are going to measure the vertical and the horizontal angles.
Those two things aren't ever applicable to a ball. You don't have vertical or horizontal on a ball. You got in and out, and that's it. There is no vertical. There is no horizontal. You don't have these things on a ball, bunch of numpties. But you'll use them for convenience, right? Who's off mute? Someone's off mute in G+. Hello?
Dardo, you're hot micing.
Dardo, you're hot micing.
We have the total station. This device, it can measure the horizontal distances and also...
Sorry, did he just say measure the horizontal distance? He didn't say take local approximations for convenience, did he? Did I hear Dan's words out of his mouth or not? Am I imagining Dan's words coming out of this man's mouth with words like approximations and convenience? Or did I hear horizontal distance measurement? Did I imagine that?
No, I haven't heard the word approximation yet.
This is the problem.
No, you won't.
This is the problem with Simon Dan and the rest of them. They make things up and people are listening to the lies. These are professional people telling us how it's done. We can go, But this isn't FED making things up. This is how it's done. You can ask the professionals, yeah, in engineering, flight, anything else. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to get the professionals, and they're going to tell you exactly what we've been telling you. Earth is measured flat, and it's dealt with flat, it's navigated flat, and it always has been, and it always will be.
I'm going to go a slightly different way. No, if you're one of the dumb people I described earlier that's more stupid than Fugly Dave and Simon Dan the liar, don't approach these people. They've got a job to do measuring Earth flat. So they can build things and survey things, so we can navigate, use charts and maps. These are professionals that use a flat Earth for their day-to-day tasks. You idiots who believe you're on a ball have no place talking to these professionals. Do I make myself clear? You idiots in a cult aren't worthy of these people's time. Meanwhile, these people are measuring Earth flat. They're not approximating jack. They're not doing it for convenience. They're doing it to build stuff on a flat Earth. Make no mistake, your gurus are liars. These people don't need bothering by cult members of a globe faith. That's the minute mark. Is that all we need? You were right.
I think there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more, Nathan, I think. No,
So
not
it
long.
can measure the vertical and the horizontal angle. So the total station, it can do the job of the steel tape and the job of the theodolite.
Open an award-winning ISA today.
You're not the boss of me.
We have the level.
Why
We use this one. The total station, it can do the job of the steel tape and the job of the theodolite.
So it can measure elevation angles on or near Earth's surface, and it can measure horizontal distance measurement along Earth's surface. So to summarise, this tool can measure Earth flat. That's what this tool does. There's no exceptions about what this tool does. And why have we got this tool? Is it so Simon Dan can lie about the approximations at a local level for convenience? No, it's not for Dan's purposes to lie about it. It's to do actual practical things with respect to Earth's surface when measuring it, so that you can build on it. Now, if you build on it incorrectly, lives get lost. Buildings collapse. But the actual practical applied measurements are of a flat Earth. Make no mistake, your guru Dan's just a liar, defending his globe cult.
We have the level. We use this one in order to know the difference in heights or in elevation.
So to get the distance in height,
Elevation?
we need a level. This is a great video.
But you know what I mean? He spoke about the measurements. Everything's to do with horizontal, level, vertical, angles, elevation angles, level again. And I mean, it speaks for itself.
Why isn't
we
this
don't
man...
have to say anything.
I'm a bit confused. Why is this guy not telling me off for calling Dave Fugly? I mean, in my video about Dave, I point out that surveyors measure Earth flat, says Simon Dan. Yeah, I've got a whole horde of trolls coming from Dave's video to tell me that I'm not a very nice man for calling a very ugly man ugly. I mean, what about the flat Earth elevation angle measurements and horizontal distance measurements made by surveyors that Simon Dan was conceding to, that I was using against Fugly Dave? Why weren't they addressed by any of Dave's followers? Oh, is it because, like I've already pointed out, you're too stupid to realise it, and you only want to defend what Dave's told you to defend? The fact that I've called him ugly? Yeah, he is. But what about this survey? He's not saying you don't get to call Dave Fugly Dave. He's just saying we measure Earth flat with horizontal distances, isn't he? Yeah? So when we get down to the nitty-gritty of how Earth gets measured, as opposed to how ugly Dave is, we get to the real truth of the matter when it comes to Earth measurement. It's flat.
It's a very important device. And also we have the GPS, through which you are going to know the position of or the coordinate of a point.
The coordinate system is also a flat planar grid in GPS. GPS is a flat Earth system using a flat grid. That's how GPS works. What's that I hear? It's a global positioning system. Yeah, name only. when you actually look at how the damn thing works, it's flat. How else would it work with his horizontal distance measurements, vertical, horizontal, elevation angles? It wouldn't work with any of them if it was curved. But it does, because it isn't curved. GPS is a flat earth proof.
Yeah, it works on the XYZ axis, doesn't it, Nathan?
Correct.
Which is nothing to do with curvature.
Cartesian plane.
So, again.
So we are going to use all of this device in order to measure distances, angles, and positions.
Not once did he say approximate. Not once did he say it's only local. Not once did he say, but it's actually curved. Not once did he contradict himself like Scum Man Dan the liar, who's just a little bit more intelligent than the majority of his audience. That's really low down the pecking order. The bar's pretty low already. But meanwhile, if you're watching him and taking in what he says, we use local approximations for convenience. No. Surveyor says it's all about the measurements, Dan.
I think that's it, Nathan.
So why do we need surveying? In order to answer this question, we are going to go through this example, which is construction of a building.
So we're clear. In order to build things, we measure Earth flat. This is not subtle, is it? He's not saying we use horizontal distances, elevation angles, verticals and horizontals so that we can approximate Earth because it's spherical-like. That's not what he's saying. He's saying we measure Earth flat with horizontal distances to build on Earth. That's what we do. Why? There's no need to explain it. There's no question at the end of his statement of fact, is there? He's not saying, why do we measure Earth flat? He's saying we measure Earth flat with horizontal distances and then we build on it. It's not up for debate. It's not a question he's asking. He's telling you Earth's measured flat. And why? So we can build on Earth. That's why. If it wasn't flat, we wouldn't be building on it. It is flat. That's how it's measured. And that's how we get to build on it. Earth, that is, after measuring it flat, that is.
Nathan, how long have we been saying that Earth, everything, navigated, sailed, built upon, and now we're getting confirmation? Not that we need it from a professional. This is devastating to them.
Yeah, like I say, you're just an idiot. If you're watching Dan and being taken in by him, like I say, he's just a little bit more intelligent than your own dumbass when it comes to understanding and appreciating how surveys function. Yeah? I mean, we can take it right down to the nitty-gritty of how things like Earth curve claim to be surveys of a physical geometric spheroid horizon. Below the surface level, this surveyor will measure horizontally. It's there. It's labelled in your own bleeding maths because you idiots on the curved side of this so-called discussion also require a surface level that is axiomatically parallel with eye level. You guys need a flat Earth more than we do for your religion of a ball. Great to see you live again, says OBE Lines. Thank you very much for the super chat. Well, that would normally be the housekeeping question section of the show, and it's been taken up with surveying, which is a lot more useful, I would say, in modern times than housekeeping questions. The housekeeping questions are kind of redundant in modern times, if I'm honest. They're there to encourage the audience that feel that they have the ability to come into the show via the link, as opposed to a Simon Dan video, which is locked down in an echo chamber where you only get his words and his moderated comments. This is a live stream that anybody can join. You can join the show, tell me I'm wrong, and respond to the questions we call housekeeping that are directly geared towards idiot numpty bull-believing faith and how they can address their faith to us in this open forum that I have created. And it's been here for 10 years with an open door.
Okay, so why? So Buck, all you have to do is come in. Nathan just gave the invitation that's been there for 10 years. So don't come in here sending messages that hundreds of geodetic surveys have been published showing the Earth is curved when you just had a professional lay it out for you. Come on in here. I'm not dealing with your comments anymore.
Do we need surveying in order to answer this question? We are gonna through which we are going to measure the vertical and the horizontal angles.
Did you hear that, Buck? Did you get that?
Thing is, Nathan, like I'm saying about these videos, we can zone in on a lot of this with what we're talking about in FED. The guys they fed some nonsense about larger scale surveys have to account for curvature, and that the word account is very important there, because yes, it might be accounted for, but it's not measured. Even on larger scales, it's measured flat and horizontal. Then there's some mathematics involved, yeah, to turn that measurement into a curved measurement. It's never, ever measured curved. It's always measured horizontally, vertically, plumb, level.
The reason why they throw that in there is because the world believes we're on a sphere.
But what I'm saying is, we can find that information out from the professionals. It's quite, you can find it. They'll tell you that is it WG84 or whatever it's called. They'll tell you it's a mathematical concept. After the measurement, they admit it. They have to admit it. There's paperwork and documents. We can get a video and go through that and say, yeah, there is a calculation after the fact of the elevation angle measurement to calculate curvature. That's what they tell you they do. They're not telling you they're measuring it. It's calculated. So we'll go through that and put them right on that. Next time, we'll find something on that one.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's for our benefit, not theirs, though. I mean, obviously, we're going to incorporate the fact that the opponent side disagree with while we're going through it. But this is really for the benefit of those who aren't completely closed off to their contradictory facts that disprove their bull faith. The average bull believer is so tied down in cognitive dissonance. They're the full cup we talked about yesterday. You can't fill a full cup, it's already full. So it's not for them. They want confirmation bias. They can't stand the awful truth. So they need people like Dan to tell them that we're wrong when we are reiterating how Earth gets measured by surveyors. They need to spin how Earth gets measured into approximations for convenience. Like, it doesn't matter how you spin this. Earth will always be measured flat, regardless of how idiots like Dan or Fugly Dave do anything. It makes no difference to how Earth gets measured, does it? So this isn't for them. I do appreciate what you're saying, though, you know, going through their sentiment and undoing it. But this isn't for them. Keep your faith, you bunch of cultist morons.
I know what you're saying, Nathan, and I do agree with you. But I think people are just constantly listening to us saying the Earth is measured flat, and you're going to need a horizontal for that. And what we've been saying, I think it's good that we show them that professionals are saying this also. It's not just us. It's not just FED saying it. It's not a flat Earth rhetoric. It's just real life. Yeah, and if we can show that more and more, that professionals are telling you this as well. It's not just us. We're not just an echo chamber of flat earthers making things up. We're just dealing with the real world and how it's dealt with.
Geodesy is the science of measuring. Once again, you're in a category error. That's it. I'm done with you.
As I say, some nameless, faceless troll who suggests that he's appealed to his own credentials when he's got no name is pathetic. Like this guy, the dude we just covered, stuck his name on it, right? Ahmed Sadoun. That's his name. Is he going by Buck Sadoun? No, he isn't. Right? That's his actual name. Like I use my real name when I teabag your stupid idiot claims of flat earth approximations for convenience. No, my name's Nathan Oakley. I'm the one pointing out how Earth gets measured flat. You idiots with pathetic troll names like Buck Sodbuster are here to tell us that you're super qualified. You've made technical schematics and programs. No, we've got NTSB pitch data, thanks. We're good for faceless, nameless trolls claims. We're okay for that,
Nathan,
thanks.
we got it from him.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say on that, Nathan, though, I mean, I've got one deck. That's not my real name, but this is no joke. In real life, that's what everybody calls me. My partner calls me One Deck. The kids over the fence, when they're shouting, they'll go, One Deck, will you throw the ball back over? That's my name, One Deck. That's how I'm known. So
right?
Just like to point that out.
When you throw the ball back over, do you account for the Coriolis?
Oh.
And my nickname of Sexy Mofo doesn't go over. It just doesn't work as a...
I'm Neil Cosentino. You want to talk to me? Join the show. This is to you, Buck Sodbuster. I will no longer be responding. You have an open door invitation.
See how he's triggered though, Neil? He's watched the professional surveyor tell him how it's done. He's listened to horizontal, vertical, level, the tools that are being used, designed for measuring elevation angles, and he's triggered. He's saying it's not, like Nathan's just explained, he can't let it go. He can't deal with the truth.
See,
We've
Brian,
just shown him the truth.
me and Brian had a conversation yesterday, and Brian, we know what this guy's doing. He's too cowardice to join the show, but he knows that I'm going to bring it up, so he's sending, and he's using me like as the middle guy. I know what you're doing. I do it because we're doing a show, Buck, but no longer. That's it. I won't be responding. If you want to talk, you think you have a point, join the show. You know how to get in.
Yeah, come on, Buck, and tell us how that survey was wrong.
He'll wind up like Steve Bauman, who Nathan totally annihilated, and now all he does is come in chat saying that it's not the ground or horizontal is curved. You know, idiotic stuff like that. Contradictory.
So, not the ground, Steve. Measuring distances, angles, and positions on or near the surface of the Earth. It's just not your globe, Earth, Dumbo. Now, maybe you, when telling us that these measurements of a flat Earth we use to survey, navigate, map, chart, fly, sail the Earth, aren't the Earth? No, they're not your globe, Earth, dumbass. They are Earth. That's how it's measured, mapped, charted, and scaled. For maps. But it isn't your ball Earth, is it? Yeah? That would require conversion from the surface level measurements and horizontal distances detailed by this dude, Mr. Sadoon. Yeah? His flat Earth measurements are what are used in respect to Earth's surface, as he explicitly details. So when you hear someone like Steve saying, it's not the surface of Earth, understand what he's really saying. He's saying it's not the surface of a ball Earth, because you can't get horizontal distance measurements from a surface that's curved. You can only get horizontal distance measurements, the ones we use for surveying Earth, off a flat Earth. So definitely not their ball Earth then. That's what they actually mean when they say it's not the surface. Not your ball surface, dickhead.
So is he trying to say, like, the construction of a building has got nothing to do with the surface of Earth?
Yes. He's saying the construction of a building's got nothing to do with the surface of a curved Earth he believes in. Because when we measure horizontal distances off a flat Earth, it isn't his ball faith. Therefore, it can't be the surface. No, it is the surface of Earth. It's just not your surface of a dickhead ball your cult told you to believe in. Because that's not conducive with horizontal distance measurements or elevation angle measurements. If you need an example from your own dumbass side, go to Fugly Dave and the incompetent idiot's limited measurements of the sun in Antarctica off a planar surface. Now, don't get me wrong, there are better examples of elevation angles that didn't come from complete incompetent buffoons like Fugly Dave, who couldn't manage to use an EQ mount properly. Yeah, there are people out there who can do a better job. that actually survey it with a practical application in mind after surveying it. Did Dave the Fugly troll actually achieve anything with his useless, incompetent attempt to measure the surface of Earth with elevation angles for a 24-hour period? No. Dave didn't do anything with that incorrect, useless garbage he got wrong through incompetence when attempting to use a tripod correctly. He failed miserably. Even if he'd succeeded, he wasn't about to build something in Antarctica. He wasn't going to do anything with his flat Earth elevation angle measurements to the sun for 24 hours. Keep getting the time wrong, don't I, Dave? Keep forgetting how incompetent you are, don't I, Dave? How you failed miserably to use a basic piece of equipment. Keep forgetting that you failed miserably. Yeah? And by failed, I mean highlighted it to the nth degree so everybody's abundantly clear how utterly incompetent you are, you fugly troll. What's that? You don't like me calling him fugly? Tell him not to be so friggin' ugly then. Has anybody done that? I've got so many people moaning at me for pointing out the bleeding obvious when it comes to Dave's ugly face. Have one of you gone to him and said, have you tried being less ugly, Dave? You know, this would all end if you were just less ugly. Can you do that? Go and have a word with him and say, come on, Dave, pull your finger out. Pull your finger
wait
out
a
of
second.
that arse you call a face.
So if I decide to sail to the UK, does it have nothing to do with the ocean, the surface? Really?
It's got everything to do with the surface, everything to do with the maps you'll use that are flat, with flat scales, so that you can use linear, horizontal distance measurements when moving around the surface that's been mapped and charted, with elevation angle measurements of a flat surface utilising the stars in the sky to create the maps, to create the grids, to create the planar systems and Cartesian grids that we use to navigate Earth flat. These are the facts. What's that? Approximations? Local? Have you never seen a map? You think that's local, do you, dumbass? No. All maps are flat.
Surveyed.
Good.
I'm saying, yeah, the maps are surveyed. That's what the other Lite and the tool stations also use for. It's used for surveying the surface of Earth and plotting maps, so we can navigate, get around this place. Horizontal, vertical, level, elevation angles, no curvature involved.
Suppose my question
That's
is,
how-
right, given this has been pointed out to my audience, who are also Simon Dan's audience and Fugly Dave's audience, you know, they're coming over to tell me I'm a mean man when I point out Earth's measured flat. For convenience, like, yeah? How many of you have gone back to Dan or Dave and said, no, they're not approximations. They're actual measurements that we use to build things with? How many of you have gone back and challenged your guru, you bunch of pathetic cucks? I'm going to bet none of you. You'll kowtow to whatever these pathetic lying morons tell you. And in the face of their information being demonstrated to be incorrect, you won't go and challenge them. You won't go and correct them. You'll tell me I'm bad for calling a man ugly, won't you? You'll grasp for the lowest possible fruit you can get your hands on to try and discredit me, one man, rather than the entire process of measuring Earth flat that we use to this day, have always used in the past and will always use in the future, long after everybody watching this is dead. Earth will still be measured flat, like it's measured flat today and was always measured flat previously. Nothing's going to change. But like I say, my question is, why aren't you calling your gurus out? They're demonstrably wrong. They've lied to you. But you're too pathetic to do anything about it, aren't you?
Nathan, that's the salt I'm talking about. That's the salt that you pour on their wounds every day.
No, I don't care. I don't care if you, the audience, go and challenge your gurus about how they've lied to you. Yeah, they're proactively contacting me. They're making videos about me and putting my picture on their thumbnails. Yeah? They're proactively chasing me down. Now they don't care about you. They've lied to you, taken your money and got on with their day, haven't they? Me, they're thinking about me constantly. They're losing sleep over me. I don't need to go and correct them. I don't need to proactively approach these people. I've got a show. But my question's about you, the audience member who has been deceived. Why aren't you challenging them? You bunch of cucks.
I mean, it's so telling. I mean, I'm going to put myself in a glober's position. I mean, if you're a glober and you are convinced and you think the Earth is a globe and that's how it's measured, you wouldn't be then offering up, well, I'm going to give you a flat Earth approximation. I'll give you that, because that's what I'll have to do. You'd be standing up tall and strong and saying, I ain't giving you flat, mate, because the Earth's a bloody globe. And this is why it's a globe, and this is how it's measured as a globe. I don't have to give you flat. That's ridiculous. But they don't do that, do they? Just give us a little bit of flat, approximate it flat, locally
Yeah, but
flat.
they can't. Yeah, because they can't.
Yeah, that's the weakness coming through.
Yeah, but they can't. They can't do that. They have to start with a flat plane. So they could say, I'll give you all you want. You ain't giving us anything. You have no choice, my friend.
Just like we did earlier. Nathan, and his book is going to be first class, only on a completely flat surface. I'd love to see Nathan.
What you measure it.
The angle to a mountain or a tree depends on height difference and distance.
Height, distance, and distance. What, the horizontal distance detailed by this surveyor, Dan? Yeah, we know. Again, my question put to Dan's audience. Why aren't you challenging him on this? Yeah? You're just going to take it. You're just going to bend over and let Dan do it to you. Yeah? Is that how you are? Wow, isn't that kind of pathetic? Doesn't that make you feel really small? Like Dan's lied to you and got away with it. And you're going to do nothing about it. Oh my God. That must make you feel pathetic. Like this big. Yeah? Yeah, it's because you are pathetic. Dan's lying to you. Right to your face.
Both are which measurable, predictable, and calculable. If you claim the Earth to be flat, and you can absolutely test that. Nathan's saying it just is what you measure.
On your knees, acknowledging the linear distance, perpendicular elevation, and flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle. And Dan does actually agree with this, but he can't not agree with it. The surveyor makes it explicitly clear that's what's being done. It's not me saying it. I don't need Dan's agreement. That's how it's done.
Yeah, okay. On a local scale, I will acknowledge all of that. Yeah.
We all clear? At a local scale, Dan acknowledges the flat Earth facts that we measure Earth flat. He acknowledges that. Yeah? So again, this big? This big? How big do you feel, pathetic cuck audience of Simon Dan? Or Fugly Dave, take your pick, I don't care who.
Earth is flat. It means you're measuring the shortest path between 2 points. Over small distances, you can use straight line approximations.
Right, straight line approximations. Again, I'll just ask the same question. Why are you taking in Dan's lies and not challenging him on it? The surveyor didn't use that word, did he? Dan's put that word in. Approximations. No, Dan, you're a liar. They're measurements, mate. Not approximations. Not for convenience either. For building things.
Yeah, the surveyor said straight line horizontal measurements.
Yeah, not flat approximations, straight line measurements. Dan's just a disingenuous scumbag liar. Now, like I say, I don't mind if his audience continually cucks to his lies. Yeah? They're tiny little pathetic, insignificant specks of dust in my world. So I don't really care how small and pathetic his audience is or how dumb they are. Who cares? Earth will still be measured flat regardless of how Fugly Dave is. I mean, how stupid Simon Dan's audience is.
Hold on a second.
Hey, Nick.
1 second. Approximations are fine and dandy, but if it don't line up with the measurements, they have to be tossed out. It's all comes from the measurement. You can't approximate without a measurement.
In Dan's stupid idiot world, you go and hire somebody to build you a house, and they turn around to you and say, "You're right if I just approximate this." What are you going to do? Go, "Yeah, no worries. I'll give you 100k to build my house out of bricks and mortar, and don't measure anything. Just approximate it." Just use flat approximations for convenience. Because obviously when I'm paying you 100k to build me a house, just guess it. Just approximate.
Hey, Nathan,
Go on.
can I make a suggestion? Just when you're ready. It's only a minute, that surveyor's clip. We could all listen to it in silence with no interruption and hear it word for word. It's 1 minute long, just to let it sink in a little bit for everybody.
Let's go ahead and get started. Here we are going to have lecture 1. In this lecture, we are going to have introduction to surveying. So what do we do in surveying? So in surveying, we are going to have measurement. We are going to measure the distances. We are going to measure the angles, and we are going to measure the positions. And that is going to be either on or near the surface of the Earth. So what we do is measuring distances, angles, and positions. Okay, and in order to do that, we have many instruments or devices. We have the steel tape in order to measure the horizontal distances and the slopes. We have the theodolite, through which we are going to measure the vertical and the horizontal angles. We have the total station. This device, it can measure the horizontal distances, and also it can measure the vertical and the horizontal angles. So the total station, it can do the job of the steel tape and the job of the theodolite. We have the level. We use this one in order to know the difference in heights or in elevation. It's a very important device. And also we have the GPS, through which you are going to know the position or the coordinate of a point. So we are going to use all of this device in order to measure distances, angles, and positions. So why do we need surveying? In order to answer this question, we are going to go through this example, which is construction of a building. So let's say that I want to construct a building for a certain site. So what is needed to construct a building? Before construction of the building, I need to know the site selection. I need to select a certain site, okay, a certain area. Then I need to know the topography of that area. Through the topography, I'm going to know the elevation of that area. Maybe the site is located on a mountain, okay, or
that will be
any other.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, that topography, I mean, that'll probably do. I mean, that first bit just says it all, but yeah, it goes on. So that topography is in reference to sea level, 0 degrees sea level, height above and below.
Okay. So let me ask a question. Because you're viewing a video of, what's the title of it? What's the title of this video again?
Principles of Surveying, Lecture 1, Introduction to Surveying. By
Introduction to Surveying.
Bloody hell.
So,
let me just give it fully. He's worked on this video. I need to actually plug it if you're going to ask. Let me do it properly, please. Principles of Surveying, Lecture 1, Introduction to Surveying by Ahmed Sadoun. There is a link that I'll put now going by in the chat. Sorry to do it in full, Neil. Go ahead.
Okay, so because it's an introduction and it covers the basics, does that make it wrong or laughable?
No. It's what we do to build things.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, to hand wave how Earth gets measured or decry it as mere approximations for convenience is what liars do to defend their globe cult. You need an example? Simon Dan, who says, yeah, we use flat approximations for convenience. No, we don't. We measure Earth flat with horizontal distances and elevation angles to build things. That's the reality. Like I say, your guru dilutes things down with lies so that he can perpetuate a globe faith. Keep you in his cult.
Yeah, if I make a video introduction to playing the bass guitar, what I'm going to give you is how to play the bass guitar, the basics. Right? It's not going to be wrong. So to laugh because it's entitled Introduction is just foolish on your part.
But in reality, Neil, when you're doing that, you're actually learning how to play piano.
When do you approximate something the opposite of what you think it is?
Oh, I actually brought up blueprints. So when Dave exampled blueprints, I've created blueprints for a building that still exists. It's still standing. It's been built. Now, obviously, I didn't lay the bricks, although my grandfather was a bricklayer. That wasn't my skill. But I did draw up a blueprint on a flat piece of paper, and it got built.
No way.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Quilmore Hill Farm Cottage, it's called. Nevertheless, I've made a blueprint. So what? The point is, when it got built, when the builders came, they didn't say, you're right if we just approximate it for convenience. Because being paid to build something would involve measurements that are accurate, not approximations for convenience like Dan lied about.
Yeah, but if you're building on something that you think is spherical, why would you approximate in a flat way? That's like a line curving as long as it curves in a straight way.
Because it's easier.
That's just as stupid.
Dan being a
No.
liar. Just Dan lying to protect his globe cult. He's a liar. There's no other words for it. You don't. You measure Earth flat with horizontal distances, as the surveyor just detailed, when giving the basics of how we measure Earth to build things on it. Not approximations, not for convenience, flat Earth, level distances. That's what he just detailed. Because that's what you'd be expected to do if you were being paid to do it.
Yep. He's giving out incorrect information. That's what he's doing. He's trying to teach an audience, and he's giving out false information. The video needs taking down.
Yeah, I agree.
remember
Dan's
when they
video
used to-
needs protesting. We need to go and spam Dan's video as misinformation, because it is. It's just lies. Dan's just lying to his audience, an audience that the algorithm of YouTube will promote him to lie to them. Because YouTube, like Dan, they don't care. They don't care how stupid you are. As long as the rhetoric of a sphere Earth gets punted, they don't care which useful idiot does it. In this case, Dan. They don't care that Dan's lying to you. They'll promote him to do it. Because again, they haven't got your best interests at heart, have they? They don't care that that's not how Earth gets measured when Dan lies about the approximations for convenience. It's not how Earth gets measured, though, is it? It's not how we've built things for hundreds, if not thousands of years on Earth's flat surface when measuring linear, flat, horizontal distances and elevation angles. We just do those things so we can actually physically build things, not approximate anything.
Yeah, but I remember when I first came into this genre, shall we say, they would say, yeah, because it's easier to do it on a flat surface, or for convenience, because it's so, it's so difficult on a ball. We do it flat.
And I've been asking them since then, like, how is it easier to pretend something is the opposite of what it is and approximate it that way?
I don't
How
ask
is
that.
that easier?
I say,
Exactly.
yes, we do. That's right. You can agree with them. I mean, I could take that. I originally did take that stance with Dan. Just agree. Yeah, so for convenience, we use flat approximations. Okay? You can call it that if you like. It's the incorrect terminology, aka a lie by Dan, because we're actually measuring horizontal distances to build things. In this example, when surveying. Dan's a liar in that regard, but you can just take as read what he says, weaselly though it might be. So you say, for convenience, we use flat approximations because it's easier. Yeah, it is. Easier to measure the flat surface of Earth. Because it's flat. It'd be very difficult if it wasn't flat, but it's easier because it is flat. That's why we measure it that way. For convenience.
Yep.
Yep. And it's not just us saying it. You can go to educational forums. You can contact professional people in surveying, in flight. In most of the areas we talk about, there's professionals saying exactly the same thing. It's not us making this up. It's what is happening in life, in reality. This is how it's dealt with. In
That's just an
measuring.
introduction.
But that's it.
It's the basics. It's the basics. It's the foundation. It's an introduction to the basics, which is the foundation of measuring Earth. And what words has he used? Horizontal, level, plumb, angles. There is no mention of curvature at any point in that video. And why not? Because he wasn't measuring curvature.
At which
See,
point the
one
discussion...
deck, when you get to volume 5, I guess that's when they're going to tell you, it's really a bowl.
Maybe, but at this point, once you get to the stage that we're at, which is the Earth does get measured flat. Convincing the other side with a cult-like faith in a ball that defies the Earth's measurements becomes moot. It becomes utterly inconsequential. It doesn't matter that you believe something contrary to the facts in terms of Earth measurement. Matters not. Yeah? Me convincing you is irrelevant. People who approach me via email after calling Dave Fugly, they have this attitude. Why aren't you convincing me that Earth is flat? Because I don't need to. It won't make any difference to how Earth gets measured if you understand it or not. You're not measuring it, are you? Dan's not measuring Earth. Oh, yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah, he measured 1,000 elevation angles off a flat surface, didn't he? So when it came to Dan's flat Earth measurements, again, no actual practical use for his 1,000 flat Earth elevation angle measurements to the sun. But he still measured Earth flat. But when the professionals measure Earth flat, they build things and do practical things with their flat Earth measurements. The numpties that believe in a cult-like ball to stand on that defies those measurements, it's inconsequential if they know that or not. Earth will still be measured flat, regardless if I convince you. But you come to me like I've got to convince you. I don't. Yeah, I don't care if you know. Go back to your ball faith. It's where you belong. Yeah? Most of you idiots who watch Simon Dan deserve to be in that cult. And I'm glad you are. Stay there. I don't want to convince you of the reality we measure. The people measuring it are still building things on Earth flat. We're still navigating and sailing across Earth flat. The flights are still measured off sea level when in level flight parallel with the ground. That's never going to change because I haven't convinced you of it. They're facts. So it matters that you say you're not convincing me. That's because I don't want to. Like, I want you to stay a baller. Yeah? So I can mock you for your pathetic, cuck-like faith. Because it's sad. It amuses me. So I don't want to convince you. Belief is not a prerequisite. We don't need you to believe in a flat Earth that's measured to build things. It's not necessary. We don't need your faith here. Your ball requires your faith, though. And you think it's comparable, don't you? You think a flat Earth that's measured that way is comparable to your ball faith. And it requires some guru like Dan, equivalents in me, to convince you. That's not necessary. Earth will be measured flat whether you know it or not.
You know what I'm realizing? It's a strong cult. It has a stronghold on people.
That's why they started when you're a baby. You can't even form words, but you already think you're on a ball with water sticking to the outside of it. How ridiculous is that? It's the most ridiculous religion ever.
And you'll maintain it and defend it to death if you're given it from birth. If you're stupid and don't look into how Earth actually gets measured like we have. But those stupid people don't need our convincing, unless they're actually going to be building and surveying things, in which case they'll just take horizontal distance measurements and elevation angles with respect to a horizontal plane of reference on or near Earth's surface, end quote, a surveyor. Because that's how it's done. So does it matter that they don't believe it? I don't care if you believe it or not. We're still going to sail across Earth flat. We'll still have flights in level flight, parallel with sea level, measured with elevation angles. Measured with elevation angles. Measured with pitch data.
Well,
until you have to make videos like Dan looking all painful saying, well, let me level with you. Yeah. Surveyors do take flat approximations. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's lying when he says that. That's the point.
He also said
Nathan,
we've got curved sea level.
Nathan, when you said why you're not challenging Dan, because in that video I didn't hear anything about approximations. If, say, you, QE, Brian, you're presenting something that I look into and I see that it's not correct, I'm going to challenge it. Why aren't people challenging Dan?
Because they're more stupid than he is and they fear that Dan might get the better of them mentally. Because even though he's stupid, he's slightly more intelligent than they are. So they're too scared to challenge their guru. Stupidity is the problem.
it's sad. They don't want to lose the ball, but they, in one breath, they'll give you, it's locally flat, even though it's a ball. And then and I think we should maybe find something on what I'm going to say next and what I said earlier. They'll say, well, it's locally flat, but if it's measured on a larger scale, curvature is taken into account. And like I said, account is the word, the key word. It's not measured, it's accounted for. And we could go through that on larger scales, because I've done it. You can go through the equipment used and what the equipment's designed for. None of the equipment on larger scale surveying is designed to measure curvature. It's all to do with measuring distances between points and angles, same as on the smaller scale. Yeah. And then things are calculated and mathematically into curvature after that. WGS 84. Brian knows more on it, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying.
But then you got a guy coming in saying that he knows about instrumentation better than you know about instrumentation. And they allow for things like curvature.
Hey Nathan, in the side chat of FED, I put a video that I've been putting in across servers for years now. But that's one of the surveyors that to see every day at a big job site. And one day I just went up to ask him. And at first he's like, "Hey man, the Earth's flat, man. So don't ask questions like that." But so I was like, "Dude, what?" I'm like, all right. Let me get my phone out. I want to record you. I need to get this documented. He's like, all right. So then that's why I recorded him saying this. And if you watch the video or, later or whatnot, I could just say what he says. I said, how many times have you accounted for the Earth curve? And he says, as many times as I've been to the moon. As a joke, right? So he's a surveyor, For years I've been using this video, telling like other people, like not all surveyors are going by the globe. You don't have to. They'll argue it's in the manuals for the surveyors. It's right here. They'll pull up a PDF. And again, yeah, it says it, but they don't need to do that because that's not the way it works in the real world. It's only when they get into their calculations and they pencil whip it. That's when things change. But in reality, they don't have to do that. So I felt I wanted to throw that in there for you.
Sorry, mate. Just saying, even no words have to come out of his lips, really. Just let's have a look at the equipment he was using. He was probably using a Lite, which is designed to measure angles and elevation angles, not to measure curvature. He might have been using a total station, which also measures horizontal distances between 2 points and elevation angles and angles. He was probably using a level, which is, again, to measure level, not curves. So all the equipment around him, the tools being used, are not in any way, shape or form designed to measure curvature in any instance.
Let me ask the host a question. So, Nathan, if we go to video, say lecture number 5, and it starts talking about a sphere and gravity, does that negate what was said in lecture number 1?
No. No, obviously not. Or it wouldn't be lecture 1, would it?
Yeah, once you get... Listen, they try to skip past it again, even in the videos. Well, let's ignore the first part where we talked about horizontal and flat and, all of these other things, not pertaining to a ball but a flat surface. And let's jump to here, how it's done on a globe. And they'll show you a diagram of a surface that's curved. And this is what they hang their hat on, a picture.
We've always had that trouble, haven't we? Even in the celestial navigation, we've got the dangling dingleberries and things like that. You're going to get stuff like that in manuals because we've all been brainwashed to believe we're on a globe. So it is in books. It is, Nathan read AI's definition of, I can't remember, it was a theodolite or something, and they've changed getting a horizontal or an angle from a curve. It's altered. So they're trying to push this out. We're all being monitored of what we're searching, and things are changing to go against what we're saying.
Yeah,
so
that man
you see all these things.
Tenth man even
There's
said when
this,
we're going over celestial
go.
navigation. Hold on. Tenth man explained it to us when we were going over celestial navigation. There's going to be stuff in here where they're pushing a ball. You just got to see where it is and know what they're doing. I mean, this is obvious to a duck.
There's
It's the
this
pictures, Neil.
guy
It's the
who
horizon.
says he's
Sorry,
a
mate.
surveyor and he's a professional surveyor, and he says that he's always on TikTok. I think his name's Baron Rutledge or something like that, and he's always talking about like how that he has to use the globe and everything like that when he's doing his things. But I have seen that guy. I've actually sat and watched one of his live streams, and he had a marker like over a mile across this lake or whatever, and he wrote down his prediction. He's like, "Look we could even predict what the angle, what the arc seconds and what the arc minutes and arc seconds will be because I'm going to use the globe." He's like, "I could predict it." This guy is so disingenuous and such a liar. I watched him too. He kept tinkering and kept stalling and moving something around, and I can't get it, and let me try this, and he literally was buying time until the object in the distance, obviously, over time, as it gets hotter through the morning and to the afternoon, he's literally wasting time till his crosshairs are matching up to his shot, and then the arc minutes and seconds are what he wrote down. I literally watched this disingenuous liar do that, bro, on live stream. And he just kept stopping. Oh, well, let me try it. Let me see. He took like 30 minutes to get the shot. But all he was doing was just waiting till the crosshairs lined up.
Seconds and minutes is an elevation.
I was about
It's
to
an
say,
elevation angle measurement
the
he's
words out of
talking
my
about,
mouth.
mate.
Go ahead, Mondek.
Arc seconds and minutes is an elevation angle measurement.
Yeah, he's saying, I can predict how these flat Earth measurements will work on a globe. That's an oxymoron.
Exactly. Well, he was just waiting until the crosshairs was on the target eventually. And then he's like, got it. Here we go. Check it out. He's like,
Yeah,
just as I predicted.
Not cherry picking
Stupid.
at all. But meanwhile, like I say, if you're going to say that they match, what are you going to match it to? If it's an angle, it's going to be described, if you're describing it in a ball paradigm, on the equatorial plane inside a ball. That's where the arc seconds match up to, if they're going to be called arc seconds, because they're angles off a plane. Well, which plane? There is no plane on a ball. Well, you've got to use the equatorial plane inside the ball to make the globe Earth a giant glorified protractor to have arc seconds at all. But you are on a flat plane every single time you use that description of an angle measurement. So to say you can use the globe to predict them is nonsense. They're flat Earth measurements. You can't predict flat Earth measurements with a ball.
Let me give you an example. I'm just listening to the show now. Hello, everyone. Hey, Nathan.
Hello.
Simon Dan, because how are things, everyone? Simon Dan, recently, when it was pointed out to him something to do with the angular size of that mountain in that celestial theodolite thing that's going around in flat Earth circles. Nathan, the thing you addressed, and I had addressed, the angular size of the mountain, right? He said, well, there'd only be a small difference between that and the globe. It would only be this much, let's just say, of an angle. It would be, I think it was 3 point something something or 2 point something something degrees, as opposed to 2 point blah 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 degrees for a flat Earth, right? What they're doing, just on the back of what you just said, Nathan, because that's why I had to come in fast, is they're just removing the amount of height that would be removed by our curve, and then using parallel verticals, because verticals are parallel zeniths, because verticals are, that's an oxymoron, because verticals are always parallel. Parallel zeniths, not diverging zeniths, and the horizontal distance between those two zeniths, and those two zeniths are vertical. That's what they're doing. And I understand exactly what was just said there, because I know the exact nonsense that was Alpha Weekend. Who was it was speaking there about that surveyor?
Aquafon.
Aquafon, was it? Sorry. Yeah, listen, I watched Jesse Kozlowski do that nonsense back in 2016. They're all at the same nonsense, the exact same nonsense. When it comes to actually measuring the globe, they take a very small amount of space and they mess with the calculations as much as possible, and then they hijack a flat Earth to do it. Then they're using a flat Earth and they try and hide that they're doing that. They're never using the curve. Never. So
Ruhif measured the globe. Ruhif measured the globe using a theodolite. What are you talking about?
Did you just say Ruhif measured the globe using a theodolite, a flat Earth only tool?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, theodolites measure angles.
Even earlier, with one deck was saying, he was saying that over a bigger distance they account for curvature. No, he wasn't saying that they do. He's just saying that's the rhetoric. And then Neil was saying the same thing. Was saying talking about rhetoric he had heard, where they say they allow for it. So that's a count and allow, not measure. Then, so not measuring this supposed curvature, because they're not measuring it. That's why I think. Sorry, go on with it.
No, go on, Brian. You're all right. Sorry, mate.
I'm just saying that's why I did the video on Mount Everest, the measurement of the height of Mount Everest, the angular height of Mount Everest from the Kathmandu Valley. That's why I did that from 100 miles away. Because 100 miles away, the measurement of the height of Mount Everest above the elevation of Kathmandu Valley, right, the angle you get only matches, and will only ever match flat Earth, because you're using a right angle triangle. That's what's used for the angular measurement, for the angular size measurement of all objects over any distance. Right, that's what they use. When they go from mountain to mountain or a mountain range, no matter what it is, it's always right angle triangles. They're always, when they're measuring heights, all based off elevations, they're all off the same horizontal baseline called mean sea level. They don't ever do anything to do with a globe. And anyone that says they do are absolute liars. Go on one next time.
I was saying, I think I was just going to say that I think that was the key word of the show today. That small clip of the surveyor what I posted, what Nathan went through. It was all about measurements and the tools used to measure. Yeah, not approximate, not calculate. Yeah, nothing to do with mathematics or equations. It was hardcore physical measurements. Yeah, and I think it's a good word to take away from today. Measurements, actual measurements.
Well, I have to say it, although people may not be happy about me saying it. I have to shout out to Ben. Maybe not now, because I don't know what kind of stuff he's up to these days. But in the past, he focused purely on measurements, focused purely on surveying. Ballers had nothing. They had nothing. He got nothing but character assassination. They had nothing. They were attacking the fact that his son was autistic and all this other nonsense. Like, they were attacking the fact that his son was using at one point a P1000. Like, they were attacking that wasn't really that good a camera. As if how good a camera as something is has nothing to do with anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, so in fairness, when he was on the ball, he really was on the ball because he wasn't on the ball. If you understand.
But now he's on the 69-degree nonsense.
He's getting all that. I don't know why he's on, because I don't these days I don't listen. But he used to be very good.
Oh man, are you talking about Ruhif?
No, he's talking about Bev.
No, we're talking about Bev. He's measured the Earth to not be flat.
I was gonna tell you guys. So 2 nights ago, I was over in Earth Awakenings, and I was talking. Ruhif was there, and this guy is so disingenuous. And we've talked to him for so many years at this point, right? But he's still the same person. I asked him straight up, because I was gonna debunk their globe, mathematical construct with the math that they use to construct it. And I asked him, what's the formula to find out the radius of a sphere? He told me 69 nautical miles per 1 degree. I said, no. That's not the formula for a sphere. Because think about it. If you have a basketball and you want to find out the radius of it, you can't use 60 nautical miles on a basketball. I go, no, what's just the formula? He's like 60 nautical miles per 1. He wouldn't get away from that. And he knows why.
Let me get it straight. Ruhif told you that in order to calculate a sphere, you measure 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles off a flat planar surface to get the angle. That's what he told you. Yeah, that's right, Ruhif. Yeah, your ball formula is derived from a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement that gives you 1 degree of declination of Polaris for every 60 nautical miles you recede away from it, off a flat Earth. That's how it's measured. So Ruhif's correct. His ball faith comes from a flat Earth elevation angle measurement to Polaris. That's right. Welcome to flat Earth, Ruhif.
Yeah, he won't come here with that.
It was just comical. He would not say the formula. And then finally, after pulling teeth and breaking arms, he finally, agreed to the d squared minus the height squared divided by 2 times the height. Then finally, he was like, yeah. And then we got to the point where, okay, well then with the black swan, you must believe that we're on a 264,400 mile, radius.
Sorry to
see that.
Sorry, just go ask Rufy.
He missed it.
Just go ask Rufy. Just 1 sec. How's that geometric horizon working out for you, Rufy? Good? Good?
Exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
forget, he was saying that apparently us flat earthers have had a big problem since 2017 with the calculation of the 60 nautical miles per degree.
What, the flat Earth elevation angle measurement to Polaris? No, I'm quite cool with that. It's proof of a flat Earth being measured with an angle off surface level. We've got a problem with that. No. Ruhif's made it clear that that's what's used to create the globe, according to him. I mean, he went to a formula that used height. Height's useful only on a flat Earth because it's perpendicular to a plane of reference. Like up, down. That's as Ruhif. You don't get to use that flat Earth measurement of height in your ball formula because you'll need a flat Earth to measure in order to acquire it, won't you? Just once more, just for Rufy.
Yeah.
How's that geometric horizon working out for you there, Rufy? Is it good? Yeah? Working out well?
I guarantee he wouldn't get 2 words out on this platform because we'd stop him dead because he'd start immediately off a flat plane.
Well, he did, didn't he? 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles is a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement. And Ruhif knows that. Ruhif knows Earth's measured flat. To create his ball, he's told this gentleman explicitly 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles. So a flat Earth measurement gives you your ball then. Right, Rufy? Yeah, we know. We were acutely aware quite some time ago. Right, any more for any more?
The Earth is flat.
Certainly is. And on that stupendous note, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, hit me up on PayPal and Ko-Fi and Patreon and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.